I don't even want to talk about what's going out there. I don't know if you saw that video I put up about the Foxy's nightclub. I showed it running one night. There's a little sign on it. I thought I'd show you how I put that together because I repurposed the building. And then I thought I'd show you Stella's Diner. That's another project that I was working on about the same time. And I just got that up too, so I'll show you a little bit about that, and I'll show you the landscape I did, you know, as I went installing the diner. And then I just wanted to say a couple of words before we get started, you know. Boy, that virus thing, you know, we're all in this together. And some of us can handle this a little easier than others, and some of us can have a rougher time. And the wife and I are retired, so we basically stay at home unless we're going to make a video for our the Adventures of Mr. and Mrs. B, or if I go out making a railroad video for Mr. B's Hiawathaland Rails. So other than that, we go to the store, and you know, it's a pretty relaxed life. But I do think about all the rest of you that have families and kids in school, and now their schools are closing, and you've got to worry about staying home or taking care of the kids, and still working and putting bread on the table. And I know that's a really hard balancing act. And then if someone gets sick in the middle of it, I just wanted you to know that my heart goes out to you. And you know, I just said a prayer for everybody, and I hope we all get through this okay. And I know that this hobby is our escape, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And we'll see what happens. My wife and I, we live in Red Wing, Minnesota. That's about 50 miles from the Twin Cities and 50 miles from Rochester. We live right in the Mississippi Valley area. That's right on the Mississippi River. There's about 12 counties in the southeastern side of Minnesota that is called Hiawathaland, and that's where I got my title for my channel, Mr. B's Hiawathaland Rails. So when I go out and about, that's kind of the area that I do my thing, although I do go other places. And we don't have any cases in our county yet, but I do expect it, you know, to happen, because it is filling in around us. So stay safe, and let's go see how I put that stuff together. Well, this is that Burton clothing store that I wanted to make a nightclub out of. And I took it all apart. Everything I could get off anyway. Some of this was all busted up, and I glued that back together. Painted that black. The roof was black, and I don't know if that's a purple color or what, but I left that. And it's got some green drapes in there. I left that, and I blackened the walls in there, and I'm going to what I'm going to do is put some people dancing in the building, so I made a floor. And then this slot that you see will be where this comes through. That'll come through this slot, like so, and go up and plug into that sign that's on the roof. This sign here. I'm not going to light it up right now, but I will once I get it mounted on the board. I'm just putting buildings together right now and putting them in place, and then I'll hook them all up later. I wanted to, you know, put some signs on it so that it looked more like a restaurant, and I'm not sure if I'm going to add a light over this door. I thought about that going down into like a parking lot, but we'll see. And I just tried to mishmash some tables together and some booths, and I bought some people where, you know, they're sitting down at booths, and I'm going to put this all together and see if I can't. It's probably too dark, but I wanted to try and get the effect that, you know, there's people inside the booth. So I'll put one of those nano lights up in here, and you know, now I'm even thinking about putting some different colored lights that flash or something. I don't know. But I'm working on this project. That's one that I'm in the works on. And then I've got this project. This is, you know, just a railroad passenger car. And I took the top off, and I took the glass windows out. I put a light up in there already, a nano light. And I took the windows out. That's what the windows look like. And I put in some more people that are just sitting down. And when I put this all back together again, I figured this out so that the people will be showing through the windows. And I'm going to make a diner out of this car. So I'm working on that too. My people came from my nightclub, so I glued them on there. Those people will be seen hopefully through the window. I'm going to have a nano light inside right about there on the ceiling to shine down. I put this orange piece of cardboard or yellow piece of cardboard in here just to kind of give a little bit of a background, and it's going to, you can see that slot there, that's where the cable comes up for the sign. So it'll hide that cable so that if I look through the window I won't see that cable. So this is kind of the idea there. I don't know if you can see the people in there right now because I don't have a light on, but that gives you the gist of it. So I've been working on these buildings off and on. I start a project and then I have to wait for something, and I'm almost ready to put this one on. I took the bottom off of this, and then I have my light, of course, in there. And then I made a cardboard box to go all the way around the bottom. And I'm going to keep working on this and try and simulate a stone foundation around it. I painted a couple of dowel rods here. I found a spot where I could use some guardrails. So I'm going to see if I can make a couple of guardrails. I just put some static grass down in a couple areas. I'm working from that way. I'm starting down there by those trees. I'm going to work my way down this way till I can't go any further. I don't have anything fancy for my static grass. I bought this. It's the cheapest one I could find. There's a wire in there. You can see that's kind of twisted together there, and that hits the screen when you're sprinkling it. You push this trigger, and that causes the electric to do its thing. Then there's a clip down here. I clip it here so it's out of the way, and I just take a T-pin, stick it in the ground, and hook that clip to it, and then I sprinkle, and you can see it hit the ground and stand straight up. That's like the coolest thing, you know. It's kind of like your hair standing up. You know, static electricity is what it is. Excuse me. So that's what I use. And then on this one it says it shows you the directions to take the clip and hit the spring after you're done, the screen, after you're finished. And when you hit that, you see a little electric charge. And that's because you can get a shock from this thing. And by hitting this, let's see if I can do this. I'll vacuum this up. See if it works here. By hitting this, you see that spark? That releases the power that was in it. Now it's safe until you push that button again, and once you push that button again, you could actually get a shock from it. And then my static grass, you know, I don't have a lot of money for this stuff. So I'm using 4 millimeter, and I've got some 2, and I've got some 6. And I use my 4 millimeter around the buildings and such, and you know, like out in the park I use some 4, and some spots I use the 6, and out here now I use the 4 back in there. In places where I don't think people would be cutting a lot of grass. So I guess you have to be, you know, use your own judgment on that sort of thing. You know, I'm not going to get into a video of how I'm doing this, but you know, there's plenty of videos out there that gives you the gist of it. So I'm up to this point. I'm trying to figure out what to do with this. I had to drill a hole here. Boy, it's like a 3/8, almost a 1/2 inch hole, because there's a plug on the end of this wire. And I had to feed the wire, you know, down through the hole. And I don't have room underneath here to drill a hole, so I'm just going to bring this wire over here and I think just cover it with some bushes or something. Either that or I'll just dig a little hole and bury it, one or the other. But I tape all my wires to dowel rods, and then I just push the dowel rod through the hole, and you know, that it's better than trying to feed that wire through there. You can spend 15 minutes sometimes trying to get a wire in. So I cut a little slot for that wire. You know, like they put in a phone wire, and just stuffed it down in there. And I'm not gluing this down in case I need to get into it for something. So now I'll just put some landscape over the top of that, and I'll call it good. And I put in my sign. And I'll put some bushes in front of this electrical thing on the sign. I glued the legs and stuck them in. And then I took filler and put in a hole, and my idea is I'll put some rocks on top of this too, kind of pretty it up a bit. And then I decided earlier that I wanted to put in these little poles. You know, the guardrail type thing that goes back probably maybe even into the 40s, where they just stuck poles in the ground about every 4 or 5 feet away from each other, and I scaled that out. And they're about, probably about 32 inches high, somewhere in that area. I made those out of 16th inch dowel rod, and I painted the dowel rod, and then I cut them up like this, and then I sanded the ends, and then I cut those in half again to come up with these littler ones. And this is the type of, that's what I wound up using. And then after they were up, I just kind of touched up the tops with some paint. Well, that's where I started this morning, and this is where I'm at now. I just have my railroad station sitting here, and that building's sitting there. I'm still got some gravel to lay for the driveway, and I need to do some work on that building, so I guess this is as far as I'm going to go for now. Now I gotta clean up my mess so I can see what it looks like when a train goes by.